and welcome to episode 28 of Bingo is Life, the post-bingo podcast. Live and in person from scenic downtown Harrisonburg, outside the Wine Brothers building. I'm the one and only Jay Zehr in Harrisonburg, Virginia, joined by the fabulous Howdy Show brothers.
Hey, it's good for you to be here.
Hello, fabulous brother.
The one and only Dan Easley. We have Mumshackles in the house.
Hello, Mum.
And a very special guest we'll bring in just a moment. Almost as sexy as the one we had last week.
Wow. Almost.
How'd bingo go tonight, fellas?
Perfect. Sweet. That was perfect bingo.
The second showing of the Bingo Flamingo.
I've got a bingo flamingo.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to hear how you found it, actually, but maybe a later date.
Maybe a later date.
Yeah.
I've got, in case you lose the
original we've got a
bingo,
standby?
we have a standby bingo.
What's interesting is it was supposed to blow bubbles, but it really works well as a fan.
Yeah.
It just.
We prefer to call it a fan base, actually.
which we do not have, but we're working on it.
We're working on that. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of fan bases, didn't you just win a big awesome thing?
I just won
Something.
a comedy contest at the Dueling Banjos Bar and Grill in Berryville, Virginia. Otherwise known as Granny's.
We know you can be funny in Danville.
And so I got another gig. I got a gig at the Blue Fox coming up. Blue Fox. It's called the Blue Fox.
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 Wow.
Part of the word, Jay. It was a little suggestive.
It's a little blue.
I was talking to Nathan Carlson now, and he's like, "Oh, the Blue Fox." Oh.
We don't know anything about the Blue Fox, Jay.
Neither do I. I guess I'll find out. And
So
then,
will I be able to find this on the internet? Should I want to connect a link to the show? It's a real thing,
It's
right?
a real show.
Okay, good.
It's not just.
Okay, good.
Dan,
Yeah.
you say you have an album coming out? Another show?
Oh, I
coming
do.
up?
Yeah, I've got on the 1st of September.
Ooh,
my
that's soon.
big hour-and-a-half long concept album about the end of the world, basically. About,
Ooh,
about
good.
social media and artificial intelligence and climate change, and how all of these three things are sort of, well, I don't know. It's this big long thing. It's a ridiculous.
Pretty cheery album, I'm
Oh
assuming.
yeah, feel good hit of the summer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sounds like the next Bible.
Where's your show?
It's a third testament, really.
Book of
It's a
Dan.
third testament. Need some updating.
The Book of Dan.
And then I'm playing with the Automatic Sweethearts with Mark Lane and Mike Lee and Scott Lowe as a four-piece. We're just playing a couple of songs as part of another rather cheery thing. The first in a series of shows about grief and loss.
I saw that. It's a Pale Fire, right?
It's at Pale Fire on the 5th.
Bunch of people are
On the
playing.
Does that have to do with Michael
next
Trokia's
Tuesday.
play?
Potentially. It has to do with Michael Trokia. He booked us. So
It has to do with his play he's promoting.
that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on
Another phenomenal playwright.
We'll talk about that on another podcast. Let's bring in Mumshackles to introduce our guest.
All right, y'all. Coming to you live and in hotness. Coming in hot. That's what we say.
That's
in
the
the
hotness.
biz. Coming in hot. From the land of catchy beer names, lousy parking, where everybody knows your name, the Friendly Fermentor himself, Harrisonburg's beer dad, the business brewing owner, no, the brewing business owner with a booming baritone, has ventured out of his basement, also known as the beer shelter. We have Shawn Gatesman.
Hey, thanks for coming here, Sean.
Well, thank you very much.
Why don't I get
Thank you very much, Britney. And guys, everybody, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Really cool.
well, I was
Great beer and lousy parking. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, that could be a theme.
And everything else, the fermenter, there's a whole story behind that. But,
Could you have had parking at one time? Or was it in the lease?
the story is where I grew up in northwestern PA, there was this restaurant where I spent many a night, like literally spent the night there a couple times. And it was called Vince's Tavern. And the slogan was great food, lousy parking. And the story goes on, the owner's son and I were good friends, and eventually he moved to Virginia with me like 25 years ago and ended up working for me at the Friendly Fermentor for a while. So it was kind of all went into the whole thing, and that's one of more stories than we have time for tonight. But there you go. So yeah, it's not just that there, yes, indeed is lousy parking. Although the funny part is, and we're not here tonight to talk about my parking extensively, but what I found is right now and for a while, we actually have some of the best parking in Harrisonburg.
Yeah.
You just can't see it as ours. Can you guys see the air quotes on the radio?
The bank, right?
We're
You're talking about the bank?
surrounded. the bank, the old gas station.
yeah.
We're surrounded by parking.
It is shocking.
They're really screwing up my slogan.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to.
Best parking in downtown. There it is. Go to
And
the
the beer's
phone.
okay too.
So weird. We try. We try. Yeah.
Well, looks like we're out of time. Thanks so much.
Could talk about parking, guys. Yeah.
Sean, where are you? Where are you from in northwestern PA? It's off the subject.
You can't really, nobody knows where I'm from, so I always have to start with Erie and go from there.
Right.
So I'm from like an hour and a half south of Erie,
Gotcha.
2 hours north of Pittsburgh.
Got
It's just north of absolutely nowhere.
Polka music? They got polka up there?
There's a little bit of polka up there, yeah. We used to have
cool.
the Sunday polka on the radio every Sunday, absolutely.
So for people who don't know, your place is in the old service stationers building.
Yeah, for the old school people,
man.
stationers.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
the
right
big
there
pencil.
at the corner of Market Street and Mason.
Yep, make no doubt about it. If I did have the upper levels, there would have been a big mash paddle on the corner of the building. Fermenter, right?
I believe
I
the-
knew about stationers.
I think the pencil sign is in the
Where did it
in
go?
the museum in Dayton.
Really?
We
I
need to
think
lift-
that's
we
true.
need to
I haven't
lift
seen
that
it
thing.
myself.
We need to-
Yeah, we can make this happen.
Yeah.
Could you maybe give us the just a quick nutshell version of like the 2012 rule that changed why there's all these breweries, and then how yours is different as a microbrewery?
Yeah, so the rule was going back 2012, 2015, somewhere in there, used to be production breweries could have a tasting room that was part of a tour. You couldn't really serve pints and that sort of thing. And then, like many states, Virginia evolved from there. And somewhere in that window you're talking about, the laws changed.
I might
to
have the
where-
date wrong. Yeah.
You're close, but basically it made it to where you could literally just have a what's known today as a microbrewery, or in my case a nano brewery, where you can make the beer on site, sell it retail right from your like a bar,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yep.
And I guess the big thing in Virginia is, at least with a brewery license, you don't have to have food, you don't have to have anything else, and that obviously is fairly unique in Virginia at that time, and that really did very much open up a door to this explosion of small breweries you've seen, which, you know, I could go into way more time than we have about how that's a wonderful thing, and it's really expanded the world of beer a lot from where it once was. But you guys drink beer, right? I don't know.
We're familiar with it.
But there's no doubt. You obviously know what you're talking about. It really did make a big difference, and that happened before the idea the Friendly Fermenter was really a thing. That's a whole nother story, of course.
Because prior to that, there were really no bars in Virginia, right? It was only
Right.
restaurants, and there was a requirement that half of profits came from food sales.
I don't know if it's
Something
half
along
of
those
profits. I
It's
don't know what
40
the old laws used to
40%
be.
maybe?
Yeah.
40%.
These days, it's not even a percentage.
Oh, it's not?
No. But I don't know where the laws used to be. I came,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
many brewers and brewery owners, I came from a completely different world
Yeah.
in my work life. So honestly, prior to the Friendly Fermenter, I knew squat about it.
What were you doing before you decided to open up the business?
Which year would that be?
Right.
He's not at liberty to say.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the 10 years, as far as like professional life, the 10 years before I opened the Friendly Fermenter, I was managing a veterinary hospital here in Harrisonburg, Heartland Veterinary Clinic.
Oh.
Whoa.
When I went to college, my intention was to go to veterinary school and become a veterinarian.
Yeah.
I never did pursue that after college. Vet school is a very challenging mountain to climb, but that's not what we're talking about tonight again.
I have a question about my cat.
There you go. Yeah, well, read my book. It's in my first book. Anyway.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah, so I was doing that for 10 years, and at the time I took that job in 2007. It was a wonderful opportunity for me, and obviously I was there for 10 years for a lot of reasons.
Sure.
But it really did build me the foundation to understand like some basics of running a business and what it might take to start a business. Homebrewing came along as a complete afterthought much later in 2013. How's that for a segue?
Yeah.
fantastic.
Hey, well, I'm going to tell you, I was just recently at your place, and It's fantastic.
It really is.
You have done it, my friend. It is a gem, a hidden gem. To anyone who has not been down there, you walk down steps. It feels like you're going into Cheers. It really does.
It really does.
I swear to you, as people walk in, I felt like there was a yay,
Yes.
a general.
Yes.
There was. It was the
Shawn has endeavored to create that where everybody knows your name. And like, since my first interaction there,
Hold on, God has to say his piece
God
first.
is
Yep.
It's
singing.
important.
We're here, you
The
man.
bell tolls for you.
Man. Yeah. But like the first interaction there that I had, the barkeeper, the beer tender, if you will, was introduced themselves, asked my name, and they knew my name after that. I'd only been in there once, and the staff always endeavors to know the patrons' names right off the
that's
bat.
great.
It's great.
It's hard to forget Mumshackles.
Yeah. Did you say Britney or did you say Mumshackles?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I was drinking.
Once you finally pronounce it right, you have it.
Now, Shawn, not going to remember this, but I first met you when I first started doing stand-up in Harrisonburg. Christopher Cantrell was doing an open mic down there.
And you were 3 years old.
And you were 3. This was in 1847. But I did some crazy thing, and you came all the way out from behind the bar, all the way over to the stage to give me a fist bump. But that really made me feel good. It was like,
that's cool.
That was
I believe that.
yeah.
There's something about getting the approval of your beer dad. I mean, Shawn really provides that for a lot of us. It's like, good job, you drank all that. Thanks, beer dad.
Jay, was it that you said, well, that's my act. I'm out of jokes now.
Yeah. All right. Fist bump.
Yeah.
Well done, Jay.
Could you surrender with dignity, Jay?
Could you were talking before we went on the air about the post-COVID, how the industry has evolved into something beyond just the beer.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we only have kind of our view of things, but as you can imagine, one of the interesting things in breweries is people love to talk to you. They love to tell you their experiences, what they're seeing, almost like you have a sign in your head. Like, tell me what your beer experience is, right? Mm-hmm. It's one of the fascinating things about the industry. So we learn a lot from that, and we're getting the perception of consumers, which, let's face it, that's a big thing. What consumers are perceiving. They've come in, and we just, between what we see and what we hear, it seems like post-pandemic, for probably a lot of reasons, and if I get into that, we'll be here all night. There's been a lot of movement towards events, music, you name it, things to kind of encourage people to come back out. Maybe keyword being on out, kind of segue. And we feel like we've seen that. I think it's pretty obvious, honestly, that a lot of the establishments, like my own, breweries, cideries, even wineries, but we don't have those in downtown Harrisonburg, so they're not right in our radar. Right. But there's a lot of multiple band shows, events, not just a live music, but like events, bingo. We're even doing trivia, which, I mean, people that knew me 5 years ago would be like, can you believe you're doing trivia, Shawn? We've been doing trivia for like 2 years now. Times change, right? But it seems like there's been a very big push to that, and I'm sure there's lots of reasons. I think everybody's dealing with a lot of the same challenges, right? And so they're finding a way to exist and keep going the way they intended to go. Yeah. And that's been a way, I think a lot of the natural larger places with outdoor spaces have gone. Now, so since we're like Cheers, and thank you so much for bringing up Cheers, by the way, you really get it. But by the way, not everybody knows your name. Let's face it, that'd be weird. Yeah. So but a lot of people know your name. But yeah, we really have tried to embrace that. When I opened the Fermenter, and I won't even go into all the story about how we ended up in that basement, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, we're going to be the little Cheers place that like really focuses on the people and the beer, and that's going to be our thing. This was 2017. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly, now. But what has evolved, because we can't chase the big events, we can't chase the big music things. We do some live music, but we have to keep it to a mild roar, if you will. We can't expand ourselves outside because we're actually surrounded by spaces that are just not available to us. Although we are looking into that. We can come back to that if we have time. But we have been, whether we wanted to or not, we've had to really focus on our strengths. And our strength, as many people who have been with us since the beginning, No, it is our beer. One of my little mantras has been, it's beer like Mama used to make. And everybody's like, oh, that's funny. And it is funny, but let's face it, who made the best food, man? Who made the best stuff?
Right.
Mama, right? There's a lot of reasons why that food was so good. And from day one, my goal has always been, I'm a home brewer at heart. I still am. That has not changed much at all in 6 years because of how small we are.
Right.
The beer's really meant to be approached from that angle. And so I think, hopefully, it sounds like we hear that people taste that, they get that difference, and then you add on the space, the camaraderie.
Yeah.
It really is meant to be a place where you come in and you don't have all these distractions of live music. And don't get me wrong, they're good. I'm not casting them in a negative shadow, but live music, bingo, trivia, we do some of this, but there's some places I feel like people, because of the pandemic and kind of we're trying to find our place after the pandemic, we've sort of lost, and you throw in social media. Let's not open that Pandora's box. But I think we're starting to lose society a little bit. We're starting to lose the foundation of what makes society. People interacting, bumping each other in the shoulder and laughing together, right? And I think the Fermenter, one of our things is, beer like Mama used to make, but also a space that encourages people to come in, set your phone down. There's not a music act to watch. There's not something to do. You actually talk to the person you came in with, or better yet, talk to somebody you didn't come in with. We see it happen all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
And honestly, that is super, super rewarding to me. You hope ultimately it trickles down and pays the bills, but I am not one for making money. I'm really bad at making money. I'm really in this for the passion and the people and the love of the craft and to create something that matters to folks. And it's super great to see that still matters. And I think that as we move forward, and like I was saying, there's these other establishments are moving in other directions. Maybe if we can just continue to focus on what we're really good at and what's unique about us, maybe there'll become even a bigger demand for that, because you know what? It's just not out there. It's just not readily available.
Your personality, though, shines through this place, because I remember when you first started, I followed the Friendly Fermentor on Facebook. Was a group you started, and it was
keep up with as I built the place.
as you built the place, and you are very engaging and you're real. I think that was. I think there's a piece, because so often the owner of an establishment gets lost because, well, they're the big bad owner or something along those lines.
But then if you're at the Fermenter on a night that Shawn just walks in, it's like, oh, Beer Dad is here.
Yeah,
it's great.
But I just appreciate. But it's not all pearls.
Right.
I mean, it's, hey, man, guys, this sucks. It's hard to make money.
Yeah.
It's hard to sell food. It's hard, there are some, you are in a basement. You have real things up against you. It's running businesses it's just, I think, I'm not sure how many of us have owned businesses, but it's tough. Yeah. Jay owned a business. I owned a business. Mike owned a business. I don't know about you two.
I use the term genuine to a fault a lot when I'm describing myself to people, or I'll get interviewed. I'll be like, I think I'm genuine to a fault.
Yeah.
And that, your average person is better off to not be as straightforward and genuine as I am. But I think, especially a business owner, but I think that the world needs that, and it seems like it needs it more than it did 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, you're building a community.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
for
is
sure.
crucial.
And
we call it a village a lot.
And a community that's authentic, right? And I think your authenticity, you model that authenticity for the people in the community that you facilitate.
Yeah, that's
Well,
awesome.
thank you. Yeah.
No, it's
Well,
good.
don't give me too much credit, because honestly, it's just me, so I don't have to work at it.
As soon as the microphones are off, you're going to hear another side. No, dude.
Where do you see it going from here? You kind of alluded to it before, like future plans. You got any ideas? What's going on?
So, I guess we're trying to ride the wave for now and kind of stay in our lane, like I was talking about, be who we're supposed to be, and see if we can get through this time. Because let's face it, we're in a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm not going to put a name. I'm not
100%.
I'm not going to put a label on it. But we're in a time. I mean, come on.
Yep.
So we're trying to ride that wave and be who we are, because I think it's needed, and that is our strength. Mm-hmm. One of the things we've done the last year or so is dabble, and I mean dabble, in distribution, getting our beer out to other establishments. As if anything, for us, a marketing thing. Because we are not only not a distribution brewery, but we are many steps away from a distribution brewery. We are, by all means, very true what's called a nano brewery. And the truth is they're hard to find because most of them, as soon as they have success in a decent market, they become a microbrewery or bigger very quickly.
Right.
And those.
That's where the money is, man.
That's right. Yeah. Well, what I tell you about, I'm not good at making money, right? I'll stop. I won't say what I want to say right now.
So I find that, speaking of being genuine and authentic and also focusing on the most important part of your business, which is the beer, you have wonderful beer. You have a wonderful selection. You're very adventurous in your blends. I'm going to take this to the superficial level of questions and come out of this metaphysical conversation where we worry about the future. I'm sorry, Dan. I know you like that. What is your favorite ingredient that you have added to one, or the wildest ingredients that you've added to one of your brews?
Well, those are two different questions.
Yeah.
So is it favorite or wild?
What is your favorite adventure you've taken on a brew journey?
So I definitely have a love affair with toasted coconut.
That sounds like a brew journey.
And then when toasted coconut's at work, I mess around with coffee beans, honestly. So we've had a lot of fun with toasted coconut and coffee beans over the years. The wildest, though?
What's something that you dumped into a vat and you were like, ooh, yeah, okay.
May or may not want to do that. Yeah. I've definitely had some one-offs with some pepper variants. Yeah.
There you go.
Peppers are fun because they can be right on or they can be like, whoa, what happened there? So
do you ever like make a big batch of beer and it didn't work and you have to dump it out back for the cats?
Next question. No, I've been super, super fortunate in that arena over 6 years. And I can remember them all.
Yeah.
I have not served 3 batches out of, it's been a bunch.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds. I've only not served 3 batches that I've made. So it's something I remember because I'm kind of proud of that because that's not easy to do.
You should be.
Some of it's probably luck, and I'll take it,
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, I hate to say it, but we have reached the end.
Well, okay, well, hold on. Before we sign off here, I have something.
Yes.
Tomorrow is Mumshackles' birthday.
Yay!
And guess what? I have a cake.
Really? Cake is good.
What? You got a cake?
Cake.
Wow.
Cake is good.
Please be a styrofoam sculpture of a cake. Please, that I can keep forever.
This is the biggest cake I've ever seen.
Now, what you can see here is that 90 minutes ago, this said in elegant letters in Reformed Egyptian, "Happy Cake Day, Mumshackles."
Mess.
Light it up there. It's like,
beautiful.
It's like 17 feet.
The rainbow candles are awesome.
The rainbow candles. And,
Dan's
so we
going to
just
burn
wanted
his
to say
fingers right now.
Happy birthday! It's fantastic that you're here on Earth with us for another year. And we're really glad to have you on the podcast.
Always worth celebrating.
And thank you, Shawn, for being here this day. And good luck in the future.
Thank you, guys. My pleasure.
Do you have any big events coming up that you wanted to say? Hey, this is coming up now.
I would have to say our 6-year anniversary on September 22nd. Man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier we are working on an outdoor event with another local business.
Cool.
Hopefully called Friendly Fest.
Nice.
But until we know we can lock that down with ABC regulations, I'll probably just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But,
cool.
Yeah.
All right, 6-year anniversary coming up. Thank you all very much. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
All right, kids. 7:30 Tuesday nights for Bingo is Life in person, and then the podcast whenever you want here in cyberspace.
Yeah.
See you next week.
All right. So long.
Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast, is brought to you by the Brothers How to Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun.